Hello again, it's Priscilla Batzell. I'm in Spring Hill, Florida at Expressionist Fluid Art Studio, and I'm using Vivid Intense acrylics that I add to pouring medium. And you could make them heavy or you could make them thin, and I've been using them quite thin. And this is my dirty pour cup. I don't do dirty pours, but I used to do dirty pours, and I'll do anything to get used to these new paints because I'm having a good time just going through and using as many different methods as I can remember to do. So I've got an edge catcher, which is going to stop the paint from flowing over the edge, hopefully. And I have some long held on to Deco Art Americana 24 karat gold. It's about the same viscosity. So I'm going to just indulge myself. Instead of using white in between, I'm going to take a chance. I've got the quinacridone red. Of course, I got to use the first one that doesn't have a lid that I already took off. Then I made up some quinacridone magenta. This one I put in a bottle. I might even have added a drop of white. I'm going to put a little more gold in there. I like that the reds will come out on top because they're going in first. This is a Parole. It's an orange, if I can get it open. I really love my bottles. Have I mentioned how much I love my bottles? Ah. I'm basically going to go for all the colors of the rainbow, I think. And I've got some Hansa yellow. And whoop, that went right down in. So much for floating that. I should probably turn over a spoon and float it like you would float something on the top of a beverage. This is, I believe, I know it's got some titanium white, and I also know that it's got Dioxazine violet, which turns out if you use it straight, even with a lot of pouring medium, it still dries almost black. So this in particular has a little bit of the quinacridone magenta. And that makes me want the cobalt, excuse me, it's ultramarine actually, ultramarine blue. If I pour from too high, it's going to sink right down in there. And if I put too much more paint in there, I'm not going to have any room for anything. I want to take some of these out of the way. I've got another purple that's got more Dioxazine violet, and I believe that I put a little bit of quinacridone magenta in there. The only color I haven't put in so far is, well, I've got the aqua, but this is the phthalo green, which I'm really wishing I could float on top. I want to put some of these colors out of my way so I'm not... I never used any of the quinacridone red, I don't think. I'm going to use a little bit of the yellow green. And then I might squeeze a little bit of gold in there again. I meant to put it in between every layer, and honestly I just forgot. There's an aqua I'd like to use also, but I can only use so many colors. I'm going to hit it one more time with the magenta, the quinacridone magenta, and then squeeze in a fair amount of the Deco Art Americana, and I think I want some black in there. I'm a little nervous about using it because it does tend to be the one thing that will muddy things, and that was a Meaden black. And for that I'm going to bring a dish forward. Like I said, I'm not used to doing this, and that looks like way too much paint to me. I'm really nervous about this. But it's kind of fun doing stuff you haven't done for a long time. I have a scrape dish. I'm not sure what that's going to be used for. I kind of want to move it around, you know? Got to break the seal. Been a long time. I'm going to let that drain down right there. And I'm going to remember that I might want to hit it with a torch, not just to take any bubbles out, but potentially to make some cells. Although I think the majority of the cells that I'm going to get are probably, if I decide to swipe. I'm missing a container that I want to pour off onto. That's really strange. Oh, I know where it is. Ha! It's got pour off from the other day in it. But if I need to, I'm pretty sure it's the same paint and it's still moving. So if I need to, I'll use it. I have to free up my edge catcher. Now this is very liquidous. I used to be a watercolor artist, so this is kind of like me working with watercolor to a degree. Not seeing any of that black. I've decided it's not important that I try and get all the paint to go down one side at a time. I'm pretty happy though that it doesn't mix. I see some of the gold, not a lot. This looks like prime real estate to swipe. Who knows what's going to happen though. I kind of want to just bring this pan up. I obviously used more paint, and I thought it might be. But everything's a good opportunity to experiment right now. Bring my edge catcher back up. Doesn't look like much now, but I bet if I swipe it will look like something. It really doesn't look like anything now. So I'd let that bead roll down the side and squeeze it. I think maybe having white in between instead of gold might have been a good idea. Hard telling, not knowing. It could change suddenly. It could really change. I'm not sure that black was a good idea either. I never was much for dirty pours. Although back when I used glue, they were pretty cool. TMP again, too much paint. But I kind of like the dish. The dish is cool. Alright, so what would you do if you were me now? I would start by taking all the paint off my edge catcher. Although I could have let it dry and it would have probably been kind of cool. So now, since we've got all those colors on there, we could do anything and not worry about it. That includes adding paint via spatula. Alright, this cup's going in the water bucket. Looks like I've got a fair amount of paint. It needs to go somewhere. right here. Could be the ugliest painting I ever made, or it could turn into something really cool. Hard telling right now. I've got chain and basting brushes. I think I'm going to take some of this paint and take a chance. And a pinch I could always spin too. Who knows what she'll do next? It's a mystery to everyone, including me. Alright, so far the chain is not very appealing. Plus I'd have to find it. So, nasty leftovers. Weird background. I'm not sure if that answers my question or not. I was trying to get myself ready to do a shovel pour. I really thought if I put white in between it was going to mute the colors, but the colors are fairly well muted anyway. And I'm going to put my dish of paint away. Get rid of my spatula. Grab grab one of my acetate tools. That sounds like a good idea. And I'm thinking that I would like to grab something different, like I have ginger flower, which is a primary element. There's something cool about that so far, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with it or not, and that's for sure. I am sure I'm not in love with it. I don't know why I said it that way. There's some Amsterdam white and Aussie Floetrol, and some black. Let's make sure that my ginger flower is actually coming out. There we go. Take the top right off so I can clear the tip in a minute. I like the idea of trying something outside the norm, but there aren't that many norms yet because I'm not really used to this. I do know one thing, it sells awesomely. If I had enough cool cells, I could probably spin it out. I definitely like the ginger flower with the other two colors. I'm going to wipe off my tool. I keep a studio rag, I recommend it. I like the white down in the beginning, but I'm not so sure about the white as it goes on because it definitely makes gray. But I am going to keep using the ginger flower. I might just add some right in there because I can. Hey, that's the name of my first book. I thought it was a good idea to use that paint up on that corner, but now I regret it. But it'll be okay. Alright, the ginger flower is working. I'm not sure about anything else. I want to just use the white and see what happens. But maybe I could just use the white with the ginger flower once and see what happens with that. Definitely right here where all this gray is. big call to some orange. And there's no reason for me not to do whatever I want since everything's looking a little iffy. I'm not even sure this is going to be something anyone ever sees unless it turns out to be something spectacular by accident, which is pretty much the nature of accidental art. I'm going to try, my fingers are slippery with paint. I'm going to try the white and some orange crush. Now I've got bloom stain, and that might be interesting to try, but I guess I'm not ready yet. I've got 3 minutes. I'm liking the fact that the cells come out. It makes me want one more good dose of the ginger flower. Maybe I could use the ginger flower and the orange crush. Let's try that once. I used to have a cell activator that was ginger flower, but this is not what that's not what this is. It does look like a plant. And it's becoming kind of cool for what I considered to be a potential fail in a big way. I don't know if it holds spirals or not, but we're going to find out right now. I bet it'll dry pretty interestingly. I actually really like this. Odd is good for me. Different, something is outstanding. I'm really tempted to put a little bit of black, orange, completely different viscosity. Oh, I wanted white. I meant to put the white second. And this is dangerous because the top is off of this. I think it'll work anyway. Oh, wow. That just popped out all the gold cells under there. Alright, it's bizarre, but it's very cool. I rescued another one. I'm going to show it to you the way up I like it. But it's sort of, you know, very paisley. And I'm sure there'll be a little bit of shimmer. Oh, there's quite a bit of shimmer. That's pretty awesome. I'm probably going to torch. I don't know if there are many bubbles. It doesn't seem like this particular recipe, which I'm not necessarily advocating, by the way. But I do love what I've got right there right now. Let's get right down on it. It's a whole different background. The gold is just all over the place. It blended with the other colors really nicely. And the ginger flower gave a little zing, so there's a muted background. Alright, what can I tell you guys? I have 28 lists of 100 videos, and also they're organized by topic and genre, and if you need them you should ask me, and looking on my link tree will probably find you the 15% off coupon code for color art products, including the Vivid Intense, which I want to keep calling Vivid Enamels, but they're Vivid Intense. And a little goes a long way. So please give me a thumbs up when you share my videos. You help me out. Your comments keep my morale boosted. Your donations through PayPal, and the icon is on the bottom right hand corner of my YouTube channel banner. They keep me painting and keep me bringing new things at YouTube. This is not something I would try and repeat, but it's very cool. I'm actually pretty happy with it. I just pulled out all the stops and suspended my fear. If it's still the shopping time of year, please have a look on my link tree for Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links, and